so the other person has to then keep up and get back up to you, and then you're walking again together. So you sprint and you slow down a little bit, and the other person has to kind of keep up, right? So they jog ahead to get up with you, and then you're walking along, and then all of a sudden you start sprinting again. Okay.
I'm laughing because I'm just picturing that person trying to keep up with me.
So maybe think of it in that way.
Example.
Yeah, because it's like, if we knew, if you were like, okay, now I'm going to sprint, or now, because I think that in your native tongue, that's expected. There's a little bit of a sprint and a jog, and a sprint and a jog, you know, in your native tongue, and people are expecting that, because that's the rhythm. That's how, you know, how it goes in your native tongue. But in English, it's kind of the situation where like, they're not expecting you to start sprinting. And so then it's a little unexpected, and then they're like, oh, I need to catch up. And so then they're trying to, like, you know, process fast, catch up with you. And then, you know, and then you're kind of going at that pace. And then, you know, that sprint and catch up system is what is a little bit jarring to our brains, you know, a little bit hard to, and we'll adjust, you know, the more that you talk with someone, the more you get comfortable with the way that they speak, the easier that is. But with especially native, you know, new audiences or new people that you meet, if you start doing that, you know, sprint, catch up, it's going to be a little exhausting to them because they're not used to it. So
you know what it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, yeah, probably is because of my native language, but also it's because I'm thinking, and then at the same time, when I'm talking to you, I don't know how much like to say, because I know that this is a class and I shouldn't be taking all the time, so I kind of want to rush, you know. So I don't know if that has to do with it too.
Interesting.
You know, besides my native language, you know, problem. Plus, you know, like I don't want to, like I say, kind of be selfish. So I'm thinking, what am I going to say and how fast am I going to say it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'm going to try to be cognizant of that, you know, in general.
Okay. Yeah. So
Thank you so much.
I'm just going to encourage you to kind of, maybe that visual helps. It's something I've never actually said before, but it made sense to me right now.
No, that helped me a lot. That is true. That helps me really visualize it.
I'll have to use that a little bit more, because that's what it feels like a little bit. It's like, oh, I want to catch up, but you know, now I'm a little behind, and and so people are wanting to walk with you. It's not that they don't want to converse, they don't want to walk, they're just not sure what to expect. And so the more that we can kind of keep that steady pace with our listener, the easier it is, you know, for them to stay at pace with us. Okay.
I know, because it's like I'm telling them, like, all of this done. Okay, now let's jump.
Yeah. Now we're gonna jump. Now we're gonna. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's a great analogy.
Good. Okay, I'm glad that helps. So yeah, just kind of practice that pace a little bit more. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you again,
Jasmine. Abby says, nice example. I once walked with a group of people, and a person in the group did exactly that. I had to laugh because the example hit the nail on the head. Yes. If you've been in that situation, you can kind of feel that, the realness of that. All right, good. Okay, Natalie, let's go ahead. You had talked about wanting to practice sentence stress and reading the TED Talk. Excellent. All right, so I had just pulled this TED Talk. Let's hopefully this will work all right. So do you see this text here?
Yes,
now?
I do. Yes.
Okay, great. So this is something that actually Vasantha sent me a TED Talk. And if any of you have a favorite TED Talk that you want to share, I love learning about new ones. So feel free to send it my way.
Annie, what is the title of this TED Talk?
Yeah, so the title is My Journey to Thank All the People Responsible for My Morning Coffee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, and it's by A.J. Jacobs. And so, and Vizantha sent this to me because she said that it kind of went along with what we were talking about last week about gratitude. So let's go ahead, and I liked the way it was written because it's very conversational. He does a little bit of you know, saying what he'd said and what she said and things like that. So let's go from the top here, and you want to work on sentence stress. So we'll kind of work on that that chunking and linking and connecting so that we can get that smooth rhythm. Okay, so as you're going through this, just kind of think, okay, when I'm stopping in between chunks, and usually, you know, commas are pretty obvious ones, periods are very obvious ones. There might be one in there. You'll have to feel it out. But then just up and over the hill in those, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead.
So, I don't like to boast, but I'm very good at finding things to be annoyed at.
Mm-hmm.
It is a really specialty of mine. I can hear 100 compliments and a single insult. And what do I remember? The insult. And according to the research, I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
Okay. Here, I heard a T at the end. I'm not alone.
I'm not alone.
There you go. Good. Okay, and do this. It is a real specialty of mine.
It's a real specialty of mine.
Good. And according to the research.
And according to the research.
We're going to get S, research.
Research.
So I'm hearing a little bit of a research with an SH in there instead of research.
Research.
Yeah.
Search.
Good. So it just needs to be in the front. Search. And then
the search. Search. Because what screwed me up is the CH after the S, right? After the S. So, and the ER is maybe is a bit short because we stress on the re, right?
Yeah. So do this for me. Sure. Or choose.
Chew. You mean like shoes? But shoes has H in it, right?
So listen.
So it's so, like so?
So I'm looking at choose. Choose.
Oh, choose.
Yeah. Choose. And then let's say which. Do that for me. Which.
Which.
Okay. So you have a really good CH sound. It's just the combination of the S and the CH.
Right. So research.
So do this for me. Just do research. Research.
Research. Research.
Research.
Sorry.
Do that again. Research. Research.
Research. Research.
Research.
Research. Research.
There you go. Okay. So what's happening is your mouth is like, oh, I'm used to doing it this easier way for me.
Yeah.
And so you have to train it in the right, in the right way. So doing that kind of research, and slowly adding that in, it's like we're training the exact movement that needs to happen. And until you do that repetitively, your mouth is going to want to go back to the other. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe put that on a list of problem words. And I hope all of you guys are kind of collecting a little problem words tally. If you have maybe on your phone or something like that, just have a note or some kind of something that says problem words and have those there. And when you come across a word that is challenging for you like this, put it on that words list. And then when you're waiting for someone or, some situation where you can speak out loud, just read through those words and give you that kind of repetition and that practice on the most difficult words that you come across. Okay?
Yes, yes.
All right, good. Okay, do one more paragraph here and let's get that rhythm again. You did a really great job getting up and over the hill and breaking at the right spots. I really liked the way you were breaking. So, okay, continue on with this next one.
Unfortunately, the human brain is wired to focus on the negative. Now, this may have been helpful when we were cave people, trying to avoid predators. But now it's a terrible way to go through life. It is a real major component of anxiety and depression.
Good. Okay, really good rhythm. I'm really liking the rhythm there. There's a few words that I want to kind of work on. Wired. Get this for me with a long I. Wired.
Wire, wire.
Okay, so I'm hearing wire, and I need that D at the end. Wired.
Wired, wired.
There you go. There it is.
Wired.
Yep. Wired to. And maybe let's connect that. Wired to.
Wired to. Wired to.
Yeah. And when you got to pull that tongue back, you're doing a great job of pulling that tongue back for that R. And that is something that needs to get stronger, is just that R vowel. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can pull it down back, and you do a great job when you pull it back, but it doesn't always get pulled back as you're reading. Okay?
The vocalic O has always been a challenge for me. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, just keep your kind of keep that focus as you're practicing to be conscious of that R vowel, and it'll, you kind of have the scale of 1 to 100, 100% perfect. You're creeping along that scale, and it's just a matter of getting close. The more you focus and practice, the more that you creep closer and closer to 100%, on that sound. So it does take time. It'll get there as you practice. Okay, so do this for me. Predator.
Predator. Oh, so the stress is on pre?
Predators. First syllable stress. Predator.
Predator.
Yeah.
Because I said predator, right? Is that I stress on the second syllable, right?
Good. I like you're hearing that. Yep. You're
okay.
stressing.
Predator. Got you. Predators.
To go through life. To get that TH down. To go through life.
Through life. Go through life.
That's that THR combination. That's probably
a huge challenge for me. And when I'm rushing through a sentence, I always miss that. Because to stick the tongue out for the TH and then pull it back for the R is a huge major problem.
So with that situation, just make sure that your tongue doesn't have to come way out of your mouth. It just has to become between. So if I'm doing through, it just has to there's just a little gap in my teeth, and I'm pushing against the, right behind my teeth.
Yeah.
Through. Yeah.
Through.
Yeah. So that combination, that THR, the more you just kind of get that repetition, through, throw, just finding a one word that you repeat over and over again. Throw. It won't, when you find one word that has that THR combination and just repeat it over and over, it will carry into all the other THR words.
Okay.
So you don't have to come up with a list of 50 words that have THR. Just find one or two and repeat over and over.
But Annie, for example, throw is easier than three.
Yeah. So find a list of a few ones that are challenging and get that repetition with that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then one more.
Major.
Yeah, long A. Yep.
Long A. Major. Yeah.
Major. Good. Okay, I like what you're doing with sentence stress and the rhythm and things like that. So what I want you to focus on is, I love the way you're hearing word stress. That's great. So keep working on the R vowel. Keep working on that THR combination. Okay. So really focus in on those this week, and then just coming up with a problem words list for yourself so that you can repeat when you have some time. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Annie.
You're welcome. All right, excellent. All right, so we're going to do Abby. Let's see. Yasmin says, please pronounce pivot. If there's enough time, it would be nice if you could decode it. So let me just write that out here. Pivot. So that's how it's spelled. Pivot. 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 It kind of has more of this pronunciation. Pivot. Pivot. And do you all know about the Rudin Phonetics app? Under resources, when you log into the Pronunciation Pro account, under resources, it says Rudin Phonetics app. Oh, sharing stopped. Sorry about that. The Rudin Phonetics app, if you ever have a question of just like how it's spelled in Rudin Phonetics, just definitely put it in there. Put the word in there and it'll spell it out at just like I would have decoded it. But yeah, pivot. Hold on, let me get my sheet back up here. Gosh, technical problems today. Gotta love it. Okay, Abby, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you.
Hi.
Hello, Abby.
Hello.
All right. How can I help?
So I want to work on my reductions as well, but maybe I can do it in a text, not a text, a passage, and you can see if I can spot the reductions. And also I want to work on my up and downs as well.
Okay.
Up and down rhythm as well. So it's,
yep. Perfect. Okay, so let's start here. So the reductions, I'll bring my attention to more of the reductions.
mm-hmm.
Do you guys hear that ringing?
Yeah.
So sorry.
It's an Android.
I am a mess today. It's a good thing that it's my core group here today in this. And you guys all know that this is not every day. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Apparently my phone is connected. Okay.
So Annie, do you think I should do it first in actually on its own, like maybe in one of the modules, and then read it in a text in a passage? Which one do you think I should do first?
As far as reading for reductions?
Reductions, yeah.
Yeah, do you have the reductions the lesson available right now?
I have it, but it's not open on my computer.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and read this, and I'll be listening for kind of common reductions that maybe native speakers would have said for that, and let's also work on kind of that rhythm there. So we're really getting that, how do we get that natural sound, both in the rhythm and in the reductions. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, go ahead when you're ready.
No problem. So how can we fight the brain's negative bias? According to a lot of research, one of the best weapons is gratitude. So knowing this, I started a new tradition in our house. A couple of years ago, before a meal with my wife and kids, I would say a prayer of thanksgiving.
Here, do that one again. I would say a prayer instead of I would say a prayer. I would say a prayer of thanksgiving.
I would say a prayer of thanksgiving.
Okay.
Like that? Okay. Prayer is not quite the word.
Right word. Yeah, not quite the right word. Prayer is not quite the right word. Right word.
Prayer. Right. It's not quite the right word. I'm agnostic. So instead of thanking God, I would thank some of the people who helped make my food a reality. I say I like to thank the farmer who grew these tomatoes and the truckers who drove these tomatoes to the store and the cashier who rang these tomatoes up. Tomatoes up.
Tomatoes, yeah. Tomatoes up.
Tomatoes up.
Okay, we're going to really just kind of focus on this paragraph a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to work, when we're working with reductions or just, I would think that your next step is more just the fluency, the linking from word to word. That's what's going to bring the flow a lot more than reductions. And in linking, as you focus on linking, the reductions tend to happen more naturally, because of, instead of it is gratitude, you know, that you're getting those endings just sharp and precise. It is gratitude.
Is gratitude.
You know, it tends to flow from one word to the next, and you get more of that reduced ending sound, not deleted. Okay. And there's part of me, you did a really good job. There was one of these ing endings were just spot on, and I was like, oh, it is good. He's getting that ing ending. There were a couple that were still the n ending instead of the ing. So still something to work on, but go ahead and match. Let's see if we can match a little bit. So how can we fight, and I'm going to break here. How can we fight the brain's negative bias?
So how can we fight the brain's negative bias?
Beautiful. So that was really good linking there. According to a lot of research, one of the best weapons is gratitude.
According to a lot of research, one of the best weapons is gratitude.
So knowing this.
So knowing this.
Do it again. So knowing this.
So knowing this.
Get it. Knowing
Knowing
this.
Knowing this.
Get it back. Knowing this.
Knowing.
Yeah, knowing this. Yeah, the vibration, what happens, the sound of the vibration, instead of it, the vibration's different. So knowing. There you go. So when you kind of bring it back here and you close off the mouth, because it's a nasal sound, it's going to come through your nose. Ing, ing. The vibration's coming through that nasal passage. Knowing this.
Knowing this.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. I started a new tradition in our house.
I started a new tradition in our house.
So get that more fluid. I started a new tradition.
I started a new tradition.
There was a little break there. So when we're talking linking and fluency, it's going to be all flow, one sound to the next. I started a new tradition.
I started a new tradition.
I started a new tradition in our house a couple of years ago.
I started a new tradition. I started a new tradition in our house a couple of years ago.
There you go. That second half was totally connected. Before a meal with my wife and kids.
Before a meal with my wife and kids.
I would say a prayer of thanksgiving.
I would say a prayer of thanksgiving.
And for the rest of you, if you're in a place to be able to be repeating after me, please do, because that will help you as well. Prayer is not quite the right word.
Prayer is not quite the right word.
I'm agnostic.
I'm agnostic.
So instead of thanking God.
Thanking God.
I would thank some of the people.
I would thank some of the people.
Okay, you braked between here. I would thank some of the people.
I would thank some of the people.
Good. So D kind of gets swallowed into that TH. I would thank. I would thank. I would thank some of the people.
I would thank some of the people.
Who helped make my food a reality.
who help make my food a reality.
I'd say.
I say.
Okay, get that D at the end. I'd say.
I do say.
So we want to put our mouth in the position and keep our voice on, but we don't need to release it.
Okay.
I'd say.
I'd
I'd
say.
say.
I'd say.
I'd say.
I'd say.
I'd like to thank the farmer.
I like to thank the farmer
who grew these tomatoes.
Who grew these tomatoes.
Who grew these tomatoes.
Who grew these tomatoes.
And the trucker.
And the trucker.
Who drove these tomatoes to the store.
Who drove these tomatoes to the store.
And the cashier.
And the cashier.
Who rang those tomatoes up.
Who rang these tomatoes up.
Good. Okay, so the more that we connect word to word by and still maintain, you know, if we get sloppy with it and we just drop endings and things like that, that doesn't work. But if we maintain that, you know, we're still getting our mouth into place for the words and things like that, but we're connecting sound to sound as if we just kind of smashed it all together made those chunks one word and we just kind of kept flowing from one word to the next. That's where that fluency, what we kind of think of as fluent, when someone is fluent, that's really what we're talking about. Is if we can still understand, because obviously you have to have the right sounds in place to be able to understand. But it's the fluency, the connection from word to word in those chunks that really makes that fluent sound. Okay?
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
You see, for started, is it done with S-T-O-R-T?
For the word started?
For the start, minus the ED ending. Because in the app, there's an O. So is it pronounced as in want? Like,
okay, wait. Are you talking about this right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start, yeah.
So start, star, R. So it's going to have that R sound, not staw. That's more the British pronunciation is the started. And we want it to be star.
Because in the app, the AR is replaced with an O. So.
Oh, is it for the rooting like that? Oh, okay, then that's incorrect. I'll have to check on that and see why that.
Because when I looked at it, I've been practicing like opening my mouth as in want. It's not the same, yeah.
Want. No, it's not. Star. So I apologize for that. We're leaving that. The app is leading you off track. So star. Yeah, good question. Started. Yeah, with that.
How does it sound? Star. I still need to get more of my R's, yeah.
Yeah, that tongue back for sure. All right, good, Abby. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Annie.
All right, good. Okay, so we'll do Vazantha and Marjorie. Looks like you have your hands raised. Vazantha, you there?
Yes, Annie.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, thanks for the suggestion with the TED Talk. All right, how can I best help you? Do you want to do some reading or do you think conversation?
Yeah, I read this paragraph. I read this TED Talk.
Okay, so let's start here. We're going to get that tongue back for the R's, right? And and really project your voice so that we can get that nice, clear, precise sound.
Okay. And I thought it was going pretty well, this tradition. Then one day, my 10-year-old son said, "You know, Dad, those people aren't in our apartment. They can't hear you. If you really cared, you would go and thank them in person." And I thought, that's an interesting idea.
Keep going.
Now I'm a writer, and for my books, I like to go on adventures, go on quests. So I decided I'm going to take my son up on his challenge. It seemed simple enough, and To make it even simpler, I decided to focus on just one item, an item I can't live without, my morning cup of coffee. Well, it turned out to be not so simple at all. This
Good.
quest
Yep.
This quest took me months. It took me around the world because I discovered that my coffee would not be possible without hundreds of people I take for granted. So I would thank the trucker who drove the coffee beans to the coffee shop, but he couldn't have done his job without the road. So I would thank the people who paved the road.
Okay, I like the rhythm that you're really getting into. You have the R's are starting to get stronger as you're moving along. At first I was hearing a lot more of the rolling, and then now you're kind of smoothing it out more and more.
Mhm.
I love the precision that you're using, and the placement of your mouth. I think there's that precision that you've really worked on for a while. And so we're going to do this, and then we're going to talk a little bit, because I want to make sure that that same precision is in your conversational speech. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
I'll read one more paragraph.
Okay. And then I would thank the people who made the asphalt for the pavement. And I come to realize that my coffee, like so much else in the world, requires the combined work of a shocking number of people from all walks of life: architects, biologists, designers, miners, goat herds, you name it. I decided to call my project.
Here, I'm going to stop you right there. Do this for me. Came to realize.
came to came to realize.
Good. Okay, that smoothness with that R is really nice. Do this for me. Goat herds.
Goat herds.
Yeah, very nice. That smoothness in that R. Very nice. Okay, so when we're talking about that scale of 0 to 100, it's interesting because I've been able to see you with those R's really creeping towards, creeping up with that, really improving and getting more and more consistent with this. I know it does still take quite a bit of focus. Oh my goodness, this is, sorry. I apologize. I don't have my phone next to me to turn it off, so I apologize. So let's see. But as you're practicing reading, you're going to have that focus there, but I want to make sure that it is coming into your conversational speech. Okay. So tell me, with this, what were some of the key ideas from this TED Talk that stood out to you the most, and why you were like, oh, this would be a great one to send to Annie?
Actually, I shared this TED Talk because it's appropriate at the Thanksgiving time. And in our last study group, you mentioned about the thankfulness, about this subject. Incidentally, that on last Tuesday morning, before the study group class, I watched this TED Talk.
Oh, okay.
That day only I watched it in the morning. So it was a quite surprise for me. Immediately you talked about this subject.
Okay. Is it something that you went on TED.com and watched it, or it just randomly came up for you?
Yeah, I randomly watched it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that that's wonderful. I think that it probably was the fact that it's gratitude related, and there's a lot going on about gratitude around Thanksgiving.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so here, do this for me. I heard you say, and see if you can kind of hear the difference in the rhythm. On last Tuesday morning before the study group, so there was kind of this upswing to the way that you had said that sentence on last Saturday morning before the study group, and they kind of came up. And I want you to kind of bring that down. So and actually we would say just last Tuesday morning. So last Tuesday morning before the study group.
Okay. Last Tuesday morning before the study group.
Yes, very nice. Okay, and I think that is something, a lot of our clients from India, that's part of the rhythm, of their native tongue is there is a little bit more upswing within the sentence. And that's something that I've always had to kind of retrain to come down mid-sentence. The reason for that is because when we do the upswing in the middle of it, it sounds like a list of things that you're still talking. If I talk like this and then I keep going and I have more to say, then it's just this ongoing sentence. And, versus if we come down, then it brings kind of closure to that thought. So just something with the rhythm to be aware of. Let's see. Okay, and so you've watched the full video. What were some things that kind of stood out to you that you liked from the TED Talk?
Actually, one thing I liked about this TED Talk. While wherever we go to a restaurant or grocery shops or anywhere else, we while we are contacting the persons, we have to be in eye contact with the person, and what we are dealing, what we are saying, we should be mean it, and we have to focus on their face, and we have to say thank you. It should be, there should be something should be there. The warmthness should be there between two human beings. Even the stranger to us,
right?
He's a fellow human being.
Yeah, that collective.
That's what I liked.
Yeah, I like that eye contact, that you are another human being. You're not an object for me.
Yes, they are not robots. Not robots.
No robots. Yeah, that there's a human being behind everything that we're doing. And to acknowledge that, I think sometimes we don't even think about it. We don't even acknowledge all that goes into what our life, into our life routines. Do this for me. Should be there. Should be there.
Should be there.
Should be there. Good. Just getting that TH sound in there. All right, good. Okay, so I think that with your conversational speech, I think there's an element of having to think about what you're saying while you're saying it that gets challenging. So for you, I would say, Vasantha, try recording yourself and speaking into that recorder. Maybe you have an app on your phone or something, a voice recorder. And get some practice talking about things. Watch a TED Talk and then record yourself explaining the TED Talk, why you liked it, what you thought was good about it. It gives you more practice to be able to retrieve some of those words in English and practice speaking in a way that brings that focus to how you're speaking as well. Okay. And it's a nicer way of doing it where you're not on the spot, like talking to me in a group study thing. It's an easier way to practice without the pressure of a real live interaction. And so it allows that bridge to connect between reading something and talking to someone in person. Okay?
Yeah. Actually, both are two different things.
Yes, very different things. That's why we need a bridge.
Yeah.
That's why we need to go for, going from reading to conversation. Sometimes it requires having that bridge, and recording yourself in conversation can really help bridge that gap.
Yeah, okay? In conversation, we have to recollect the vocabulary.
Yes.
And the right word.
Yes, and it just takes that practice and that repetition. And especially if you're, in a situation where you're not speaking in English very often, you do have to create those experiences for yourself. And, talking into a recorder really does help.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Vasanta.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Marjorie, let's go ahead and unmute you. Hi, Marjorie.
Hi, Annie. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
We had a lot of snow yesterday.
Did you?
Yes. We had the snow blizzards. And then we got 12 inches of snow.
Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine that much snow.
It's so hard to drive, but we're good right now.
Oh, good. So it's the kind of thing that I remember when I lived in Oregon, they don't have a lot of snow. So when they had snow, everything shut down. But for you, snow is common, it's normal. So you just keep living life, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. All right. How can I best help you today?
I would like to read.
Okay. Real quick, do this for me. Blizzard with a short I.
Blizzards.
Do it again.
Blizzards.
Blizzards, yeah. Instead of blizzard.
Oh, I said blizzard. Okay. Blizzards.
The first time, but once we started working on it, you were doing it correct. So
thank you.
Blizzard with a short I. Yep. All right, good. And that's a very, very common one. The I to E. Okay, so let me pull up this again. Okay, so go here where I said I decided to call my project.
I decided to call my project Thanks 1,000 because I ended up thanking over 1,000 people, and it was overwhelming, but it was also wonderful because it allowed me to focus on the hundreds of things that go right every day, as opposed to the 3 or 4 that go wrong. And it reminded me of the outstanding interconnectedness or our world. I learned dozens of lessons during this project, but let me just focus on 5 today.
Good. I'm going to just do this. Focus. You changed it, you corrected it through the rest of it, but just that long O for focus. Focus.
Focus.
And then astounding is this one.
Astounding.
Yeah, astounding. Good. It has that but it's a second syllable stress. Astounding.
Astounding.
Good. And I like the emotion that you bring into it. It's and it was overwhelming. Like the way you're using your voice and intonation is really natural. I like it. All right, keep going.
The first is look up. I started my trail of gratitude by thanking the barista at my local coffee shop, Joe Coffee in New York. Her name is Chung, and Chung is one of the most upbeat people you will ever meet. A big smiler, enthusiastic hugger, but even for Chung, being a barista is hard, and that's because you are encountering people in a very dangerous state.
Okay. And they're talking about New York City, so that's why the laughter is like New York City. People in New York City are pretty aggressive, pretty, pretty strong personalities. It tends to be pretty strong personalities. Okay, do this for me. Enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. Let's get that TH there.
Enthusiastic.
Good, good. And that might be a word. Some of those words might be ones that you put on your problem words just to get that repetition.
All right. Enthusiastic.
Yeah. Some of those TH in the middle of the words can sometimes be tricky to get that full TH sound because it's a lot easier to do, you know, the T or the D behind the teeth. Okay. So keep going here. We'll do another.
You know what is precaffeination?
You know what it is. Precaffeination.
Oh, you know what it is? Precaffeination.
Do that again. Precaffeination.
Precaffeination.
Precaffeination. So he's kind of he's kind of joking at the fact that it's a dangerous state. So he's actually not talking about the state of New York. He's talking about the state of the people, kind of their physical state, pre-caffeinated. So pre-caffeinated people tend to be more grumpy, right?
Yeah, precaffeination.
So the state of the people, it's very dangerous. It's pre-caffeinated. All right, keep going.
So Chang has had people yell at her until she cried, including a 9-year-old girl who didn't like the whipped cream design that Chang did on her hot chocolate. So I thanked Chang, and she thanked me for thanking her. I cut it off there. I didn't want to go on an infinite thanking loop.
Okay, good. Okay, do that one again and just kind of get that smoothness to it. I think sometimes when we're not sure about what's coming next. So now that you've read it through once, get that feeling and emotion and rhythm into it.
Okay, I'll try again. So Chang has had people yell at her until she cried, including a 9-year-old girl who didn't like the whipped cream design that Chang did on her hot chocolate. So I thanked Chang, and she thanked me for thanking her. I cut it off there. I didn't want to go into an infinite thanking loop.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So, what's happening here, Marjorie, is that you are at a very high level with what you're doing with your rhythm, with your pronunciation. So what happens is I'm always then looking to push you forward. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I see someone at a high level like you, and really, I mean, you're not difficult to understand. You have, but it's just these tiny little differences that I'm trying to pull out between what you're saying and what a native speaker, how a native speaker would say it. So as I'm kind of picking, just know that we're getting to a very high level here. Okay. And that's good for everyone else to know too. Okay. So we're going through, there's just these tiny little things that I've corrected you on already. But I think that as you are speaking conversation, and actually, let me just kind of get a little conversation from you as well. Is this the kind of situation that you, as you're going about your day, is it natural for you to kind of have eye contact and thank people and kind of talk with people, or do you feel like you have the tendency to kind of move through your day without really thinking about that?
Well, as much as possible, I like to have an eye contact so that I can understand it more and they can understand me better. Because sometimes they will maybe read my lips or I will read their lips, so that there are moments that I couldn't understand, or they're so they talk so fast, so
okay,
I like to look in their eyes.
Okay. So even just on a language level, it's important to have that eye contact.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find that, because you're in the Midwest, right?
Yeah. Illinois,
yeah. So I guess not Midwest,
something central, I think.
Yeah, something central. There we go. So do you find that the pace is pretty quick?
It depends on who I'm talking with. For example, with my husband and his family, it's very like you. The way my husband talk is the way you talk. But there are some people that sometimes they will just talk so fast, so I need to like adjust, or I will talk so fast for them, so they will adjust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And coming back to our kind of our walking analogy, right?
Yeah, I kind of relate on that.
Yeah, so when people are kind of, they're speed walkers, you want to keep up, but it can be exhausting, right? And so there's only so long you're going to be able to keep up before you're like, okay, I'm done. And that goes for listening, when you're listening to other people, native speakers or whoever, who are those fast talkers, it goes both ways, right?
Yes, I agree.
All right, good. Okay, so I think and as I was listening to you in conversation there, there's kind of the ending sounds that, occasionally I was hearing a little bit more dropping, but what I'm liking is that you're finding that combination of not dropping the ending, but being able to reduce or swallow it when it's appropriate. I think that you're doing a really great job with that, because weren't you working on that, trying to not drop endings? Was that you? Maybe that was. But your endings are getting, you're using the right type of reductions there that sound really nice. I think that maybe the TH sound just in those middle combinations might be something to keep focused on. And then some vowels here and there, like that short I, long E combination we were talking about. And then but I think that as you're reading out loud, your focus and your attention is really good. Your ear's really good at being able to pay attention to what you're sounding like. So you're correcting a lot of your own situations, your own thing, which is great, because then it allows you, as you're practicing on your own, you correct yourself. And then as you move into conversation, you'll do a much better job of hearing any mistakes that you do there. So for you, that recording yourself and listening, recording yourself and getting some more practice that way, and even listening back, because you're going to be able to pick up on any mistakes, with the ear that you have. You're going to be able to pick up on those mistakes and work on those through that process. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Annie. I like your suggestion about recording without you suggested to Vasanta to listen to the TED talk, and then we can record what we think about that kind of TED talks topic.
Exactly. And it helps with vocabulary. It'll help with grammar. It just helps that flow of speech, because you're getting that practice, that repetition.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. So let's see. I wanted to say earlier when I said in want, I meant to say short vowel. Won't. Okay. Sorry, I was just reading something. So Abby, okay, I understand the difference there. The short O in want, not the long O. So long O would be O, saying O. So it would be more like won't, instead of want. Ah is short O. O is long O. Won't and want. So start has a totally different R vowel there. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for coming today. I do have an appointment in 5 minutes, so I have to run today, but thank you for all being here and being patient with my technical problem. Have a happy week, and yeah, use some of these tricks and tools and tips. Think about that walking analogy and see how that applies to how you are speaking, and how easy it is for someone to walk next to you or keep up with you in your conversation. And think of it in terms of other people, and and how that affects how you are able to converse with them. All right. So go ahead and take that and run or walk with it. And we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Here, I'm going to unmute everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Annie. Thank you.
Bye. Bye,
Have a
Annie.
great day.
All right.